Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the biggest box office surprises of the past few years. But have you ever wondered what it looked like without CGI? Let's take a look. It's no secret that the initial design for Sonic in the movie was met with a lot of backlash from fans. From his creepy human-like teeth to his oddly conjoined eyes, that thing looks a lot like my sleep paralysis demon. It seemed like Paramount had completely missed the mark when it came to creating an accurate Sonic character. But it wasn't just Sonic's physical appearance that sparked so much dissent. It was his overall demeanor. It just came off as a bit too goofy and carefree, compared to the cool and collected Sonic many of us grew up with. When the trailer came out, fans made it very clear that they weren't gonna let Paramount ruin their childhood like this. The film had to go through a full-scale redesign after fans were horrified by its original CGI look. They had to bring in artists from the old Sega games in order to fix this mistake. And after spending tens of millions of dollars, the redesign was finally revealed to the public. Sonic had gone through an extreme makeover. His eyes were bigger and cuter, he had fewer teeth, and he was wearing a pair of gloves. He also looked way more like his game counterpart than ever before. Fans rejoiced. Despite a few minor flaws, everyone was thrilled with the redesign and couldn't wait to see Sonic hit theaters. However, Paramount decided to delete the first trailer from its website in light of the overwhelmingly positive reaction to the second. But overall, the extra money spent was well worth it. Sonic became a massive success, spawning a sequel, and it's clear from all this that CGI played a huge role in the movie. So what did Sonic look like without CGI? Well, it was a bit weird. The Sonic movie certainly looked a little different without the use of CGI. Instead of having the iconic Hedgehog running around in real time, we were presented with a motionless dummy dressed up as Sonic. You heard that right. The doll was all Jim Carrey had to work with. It was placed in various scenes, alongside Jim Carrey's character. In all of the scenes you see Jim talking to Sonic, he's actually talking to a freaking dummy. How crazy is that? The scenes featuring this dummy were quite hilarious to watch without CGI. Seeing a large blue doll placed in a car alongside one of Hollywood's most famous actors was certainly an interesting sight. Of course, the addition of CGI later brought Sonic back to life and breathed a much-needed dose of realism into the movie. But for a few brief moments, viewers were treated to something weirdly endearing and amusing. An insight into what the movie could have been without any special effects at all. It's almost as if we got a sneak peek of an alternate universe where the filmmakers were forced to get creative with their limited resources. No matter what, it was certainly memorable and added a unique element to the movie that couldn't be replicated by CGI alone. In some ways, it almost seemed like a throwback to old-school filmmaking when puppetry and practical effects were all the rage. In any case, it was a fun and creative way to get around not having an actual Sonic model ready during production. This dummy model is actually a part of a larger conspiracy theory surrounding the Sonic films. Just take a closer look at the dummy. Notice something? That's right, this dummy uses the updated Sonic model. A lot of people claim that Sonic the Hedgehog was never meant to have that horrific character model introduced in the first trailer. There's a theory that Paramount knew just how bad it was, but they released it anyways. Why? Well, for publicity, of course. When the first trailer was released, it got over 17 million views in just a few days. A lot of the views were just because people wanted to check out what the whole fuss was about. Even I wouldn't have seen the trailer if it wasn't such a hot topic. The main goal was simply to get people talking about Sonic. In the world of Hollywood, any publicity is good publicity. And of course, Paramount was quick to respond to the raging fans. They sent out a statement within days and told everyone they were gonna fix everything. Eventually, they rushed a second, updated trailer, and it featured the new model. People were amazed that they did it so fast, but if you ask me, this was planned from the very beginning.
in an extremely handsome package. On my planet, people were always after my powers, so I came to yours.
The updated model got even more people talking. As a result, there was loads of positive publicity for the movie. This may be part of the reason why the film was such a smashing success. If this theory is true, though, I gotta give Paramount some props. They certainly had me fooled. But there are other behind-the-scenes stories about Sonic the Hedgehog as well. For example, did you know there was supposed to be another villain in the film? According to some unearthed concept art, it looks like another villain was in the works for Sonic the Hedgehog. From the looks of things, this reptilian baddie had a staff with a Chaos Emerald embedded in its head. Talk about an epic weapon. Although we never got to see this mysterious character come to life on the big screen, it's still cool to think of the possibilities that could have been. Who knows? Maybe there are even more Sonic secrets out there waiting to be discovered. There are probably a few things you missed from the film as well. Sonic the Hedgehog is packed with fun Easter eggs. One of these was pointed out during a recent watch party. During Sonic's opening chase, fans can spot the street sign for Mega Drive. If you've been playing Sonic games for a while, you probably recognize it. It's the international name for Sega Genesis. That's a pretty awesome nod to Sega history. It just goes to show that the filmmakers still respected the source material. It wasn't just Hollywood execs trying to use a lucrative IP. But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Sonic. You'd be surprised to learn that this film, this rated PG film, of all films, was censored for a few dialogues. That's right. Apparently, the censor boards didn't allow the word badass to be used in Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not kidding. According to co-writer Pat Casey, a scene where Sonic and the sheriff Tom Wachowski refer to themselves as a couple of badasses was altered. To make matters even crazier, the rule was apparently breached in the PG-rated movie, Paul Blart Mall Cop. But I guess the MPA just forgot they did that. It just goes to show that the regulations and rules surrounding ratings can be inconsistent at times. It's a shame we didn't get to see the script in its full glory. But who knows, maybe Paramount will release an explicit director's cut in the future. Overall, Sonic the Hedgehog certainly did its franchise some justice. The film was not only well received by critics, but also its core audience. Thankfully, the second film didn't have to go through any of the same problems as the first one, and it still ended up being a massive success. There's also a third Sonic film under production right now, and that might end the trilogy. Aside from that, there's also a Knuckles film being planned. Are you excited for the future of the Sonic film franchise? See you in the next one.